Evening, everyone.
All right, we good? I saw a couple emails. I honestly didn't get to check yet, like one from Kate, etc. Do we know who's coming, TJ?
I haven't heard back on any no's. I don't think Councilwoman Koch or Cole will be able to make it. She has some other things going on tonight. But I haven't heard back from too many other folks.
Okay. Well, it's not like we actually need a quorum or anything, so I think we can probably get ourselves started. As was just mentioned, I think a lot of people want to kind of keep an eye on the elections and what's happening. So the agenda is somewhat light. So we've got two committee members, so that's good enough for a motion and a second in order to approve the minutes. So do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Very good. All right. So all in favor of approving last month's minutes? Aye.
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 All right. Any opposed? Any abstain? All right. Very good. Minutes are approved. Let's move on to public comments. I would imagine, is Susan with us?
She is.
Good. Wouldn't be a meeting
I'll
without.
keep my eyes peeled for a hand up there from Mr.
Okay.
O'Brien.
All right. We started having a little bit of a chat before we got everything started with regard to the park. Let's start, though, not talking about McCarter Park just yet, and talk about end of fall season update. So how's everything looking after all the aggressive activities we hold on them?
So pretty good overall. We had a pretty dry fall up until a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that helped with things. Temperature wise, we're really in that nice zone where things weren't getting burnt up and grass was still able to grow in that September, October growing season. So we didn't see too many areas where we were concerned over the grass deteriorating, turning to dirt spots, anything like that. So that was a positive. At this point, DPW is getting out there. They've done some seeding in different areas. The fall sports are over now, so slowly but surely they'll be getting the fall equipment out of the fields. We'll be doing our inventory, seeing what we need to order for the spring season, and things like that. So that's the next step there. As we know, we're looking at, there are always some things that we could do to prepare for the next spring season. But the tough part is, like we've talked about, we lose the parks crew that we have. They go out on leaves and all that. So there's not a ton of work that's going to happen between now and the start of the spring sports season, just because we don't have the manpower for it. But we're looking at some smaller things that'll help us into the spring season.
Okay. So we seem to be poised to move ahead, kind of status quo, and everything should be good. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No, that's really it. Again, we got pretty lucky with the weather this past fall. That made things a lot easier. There were only, I want to say, 5 or 6 days total that we had to close the fields up for sports and things like that. And luckily, we didn't have many back-to-back rain days to where we had to keep the teams off for multiple days at a time. And the warm weather helped with allowing the fields to dry and drain and things like that. So.
Okay. All right. Let's keep moving. Parks, fields, facilities. I guess first of all, so I'm just curious if anybody on the committee has anything with regard to any of the parks that they kind of keep an eye on that we need to know about or report on. I know that we certainly have, not that it necessarily falls under our purview, but there's certainly a lot of work going on Fairhaven Road. They're getting the sidewalk in along there. And of course, we had a bit of a snafu with the original plan to trim back some of those cherry trees. But I'm sure that'll get straightened out and move ahead from there. Aside from that, my kind of wanderings through the natural area there, things look pretty good. I mean, after some of those winds and such, we definitely had branches and things down, but those are getting cleared away. So I think overall things look good in there. The only issue I've kind of come across is the one we've talked about before. And it just seems to be a lot of kids back in there with their e-bikes, kind of blazing new trails and setting up jumps and things. And I guess there's not too much we can do about that other than, if we can kind of have code enforcement or somebody in there watching out for it. But, it's a hard thing to police.
I'll mention it to Chief. I don't know if he knows that specifically, but I will definitely mention it to him. When I was
Okay.
in McCarter Park the other day, right near the exercise equipment that has like the three things you're supposed to step up on. I don't know, you know what I mean? Not the
Mhm.
bars, but the three things. There's like a
Right.
weird little tree that looks like it was broken at some point. It's like a tiny little tree that has sort of a spike out of it. It's random, but you're asking about parks, so I just thought of it.
Mhm.
Someone may want to just check it out because it doesn't look like it's going to grow anymore. But it's like, and
Is
it's
it at a
thin.
level that's bad, maybe a dangerous kind of level?
Yeah, kind of like it's like up to
Okay.
my knee, kind of. It's just
All right.
worth looking at.
Hmm.
Like, I don't think it needs to be there. It's not, I don't think
Yep.
it's going to grow.
I wonder if it's
Okay.
one of those trees we tried to plant a couple years ago that just didn't take.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah,
it,
it
it
was,
kind of looked like that
Yeah.
if I had to guess, but yeah.
Okay.
it's been so tough growing stuff in that area, in that soil.
Yeah. That was something that came up actually at the last meeting that the beautification committee is looking to plant some trees. And I guess they had talked about planting them there along the fence. But afterwards, someone told me that there was an issue planting along the fence. And actually the school had asked not to. Just out of curiosity, had you heard anything about that? Either way, like historically that the school said don't plant them against the tree because the kids line up against the fence because the kids line up there, or have you heard that beautification wants to plant at McCarter
I haven't
Park?
heard either of those two. For McCarter
Myself.
Park, that didn't make it here, fortunately.
Okay, all right, I'll get some more update on that and then I'll let you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we are doing those tree plantings that were approved at the community center. Those will hopefully be happening tomorrow. I'm meeting with Chris Larson one more time tomorrow just to fine tune the exact locations. So we'll be out there at 8 in the morning to.
Great.
We've already looked at it, but just make sure they're definitely going in the right spot because we've left things up to vendors before, and sometimes you can't always trust that that they understand what you're saying until you actually mark things out for them. So
Yeah. I know it's a little out of order, but because we mentioned community center, we can touch on anything else with regard to that. But I'm curious, DJ, how does one go about signing up for usage of the community center?
yeah, so they would just send me an email just like they would for any other indoor facility meeting space. So right now we're keeping it to the groups that have previously used space. So scouts, any of our committees, commissions, seniors, garden clubs, things like that. And then
Mhm.
once we get a handle on just some of the nuances that the new building will come with, then I know there's talks of expanding that out a bit.
Okay. I just didn't know whether it's strictly a kind of, still with email or if there's any kind of, form online somewhere where people can put it in that way, which to me might
There's a
not be a bad
form.
idea.
Yeah, there is a form, but that form goes to me. So what I normally tell people is, send me an email beforehand,
Mhm.
so that you don't not waste your time filling out the form, but normally a conversation of what is the group, what's the use. Most of the groups that we typically reserve space for know the deal,
Mhm.
but and we just have them fill out like a blanket reservation form, so they don't have to fill it out every single time.
Right. Okay. All right. Was there anything else as far as community center goes, or is it pretty much about getting the new trees in and the fact that we had I think a really nice inauguration, I guess, ceremony?
That was really it, just the ribbon cutting, and talking about the trees that are getting planted out there, with the Shade Tree Commission.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I have to say, I know a number of us who are on the call were at that ribbon cutting, and I thought it was a great ceremony, and then it was nice to give everybody a chance to go in, poke around, see what's going on in the community center. And I enjoyed being able to go over to see the new police station and you know, hopefully experience it for the first and only time that I'll be in there.
There was a lot of people there. I thought it was a great turnout.
Yeah, they really were. All right, so let's maybe bump back up to the top of our list there. We've got the PTA color run.
Yeah, so that got approved. We had talked about that at the committee level at the last meeting. And we had gone over the different details there with Kelly Guerrero, and ultimately the committee unanimously approved it to go to the governing body. Governing body approved it, so that'll be occurring at Fairhaven Fields on November 22nd.
I'm just curious, did we find out anything further? There was some question more of kind of with the timing as far as like the music and level of music.
Yeah, so they're going to hold off as long as they can for the music. So offhand, say the race starts at 9, then they wouldn't get there at 7:30 and start blasting the music. It's more of when people actually start getting there, they want to be cognizant that there are people with small children and people that use Sunday morning or Saturday morning to sleep in a bit. So and the music level too, they're going to keep it at a reasonable rate.
Okay. All right, so on to McCarter Park Playground.
Yeah, so where we're at now is we've been working with a vendor to get some updated renderings based upon the renderings that we had gotten in the spring, which were based on feedback from the various committees and things like that. And then we had the open houses and the town survey that went out. So we wanted to get an updated rendering of what that might look like. So we got that back, and there's really 2 color options that we're looking at. And Borough Administrator wanted the committee to look at them. So natural colors was the big theme that we're going for. So browns and greens and like different shades of those. So there's one, and I'll share my screen in a minute or two. There's a video, then there's some PDFs that are a little bit clearer. So the one option will be like just different shades of brown, lighter browns, darker browns, things like that. And the other one will be the same, but with some dark greens mixed in, some earthy greens mixed in that you'll see on like slides and things like that. So they just wanted some feedback on if there was a preferred option there. And then just taking a look at the poured in place, which is the surfacing. It's brown and green or brown and green and mixes in well with that natural aesthetic. So I will share. It's actually really cool, the videos that this company had put together. So I will show those.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty cool, actually, like a little walkthrough.
Yeah, and not everything that you see in the video is going to be there.
Yeah,
like they put all the
that we would
beautiful
have.
plants and all these different things. That's a whole nother discussion on if DPW can maintain that and what that would entail. But when they put these renderings together, they make it look really nice. So the videos are about a minute or so long. So what I'll do is I'll show the video for option 1, and then I'll take you through the PDF just so you can see it a little clearer. Everything's the same except the color is going to be different.
Right. Some components of the various slide and such are different colors.
Right. So bear with me here. All right. Let me move you guys. Minimize that. Okay. Can you guys see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're going to walk through.
So this is brown and green. I see like some green double slides and such.
Yeah. So you'll see that there's some green accents on some of these items here, like on the right-hand side of this.
Yeah,
this
there's a
climate
small
structure.
slide on that one. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be clear on the PDFs because they have the shade included here.
Yeah, and you can even see, I guess it'll circle around, but on the big tower in the back, there's a big green slide on that. Oh, there's the school. I like how they worked all that in with the parking and all
Yeah,
that.
that's our basketball court right there.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
cool.
And notice the play surface, that's the poured in place with different color.
Yeah, and one thing that was wanted was some natural play features. So I was able to find these and I worked with them to you'll see like the wood balance beam and you have this little wood enclosed play structure here. Looks like wood, it's not actually wood, but
Mhm.
just gives more that natural feel.
It's like a
So
big.
this is like the exact, these are the exact features that will be elements that will be in the playground, correct?
Yeah, it depends. Ultimately, the town's likely to go out to bid. So a specific company might have something similar to. Not every company has the same play structure. So that's the nuance is that you put out what you want in terms of like you would line item all these items and or you put equivalent to, and then they along with their pricing, they show what they would be able to do.
Okay.
I feel like we are and we're actually watching a movie. I hope you don't mind if I have a little snack.
There you go. All right. So that was the first one. And I'll take you through now just on the PDF. So you can see it a little more clearly. I'm actually going to back this out a bit. There you go. So the one thing that's not in these, and I'll show you what the fence would look like, but there will be a fence along the grass perimeter here, which is required by the grant. You can see in this one that slide is a green color there. Some of these
There you
other
go.
accents, green.
That is
Yeah.
tall.
I was just gonna say that, Rachel. That's really
don't-
tall.
I don't remember us
feet of
talking
slide.
about something so tall.
Yeah, I mean it's a standard 5 through 12 play slide.
It looks like maybe the one at Sickles part, like the Sickles and Little Silver. There was one that
Right.
high. As long as it's covered, I guess I'm less concerned. At least the top is covered.
Yeah.
Is that the fence?
So
No.
this is the
Yeah.
existing fence that's
Yeah.
there now, and
Oh,
based on
gotcha.
the feedback that we got, the idea with the fence that'll be around the perimeter fence or around the actual playground, we would just match that. So it'd be a split rail with fabric,
Got
which
it.
would have the same aesthetic there. Yeah, we had given 4 options at the open houses on the surveys, and that was the one that was the most liked fence option.
Yeah, I think that's a better image seeing the green mixed in.
Right. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks to me like there's a bunch more features than we have now. Is that right? I mean, some
Oh,
of it
yeah,
looks kind of
it's-
similar.
Yeah. There's a lot more different types of activity. The apparatuses, the 2 apparatuses that are here, the larger ones, there's a lot more different features to them. Even things like this little I don't even know what you would call this. It's like wood like tunnel. We have these. This is a balance beam here that's made to look like it's out of a tree branch. So like even those little things where we talk about like active play, those are big here. The
Kids
tire
are gonna
swings.
love it. Yeah.
It's a double bay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sensory items here too, which you can see a little bit of.
It's sort of like, yeah, one of those sort of maze, handle manipulation kind of things there.
Right.
Some sort of identification board there.
Mm-hmm.
It also looks like they're kind of attached a little bit more, like sort of longer connections to different areas. Is that right? Like right there, like that top one.
This one.
Yeah, it kind of looks
So
like,
bridges the different components.
yeah, which I think, which I like. I think that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. I just noticed that. I just realized, I guess maybe I'm just seeing it, but is that supposed to look like an elephant?
Oh, that's cool.
Right? I mean, that's all
I
of a
see
sudden
it, whether it's supposed to or not. I see it.
yeah, it's kind of like the trunk is the slide and whatever.
Yeah,
Or
it's
a
just
big
going back
mosquito.
to that like ninja play theme of things that you can grab onto, climb, build strength, things like that.
My daughter's jealous that you guys are putting this now, that she's like kind of out of the age to go to Sickles.
Are you really ever out of the
I
age?
know, really.
John and I were just playing on a new fandangled seesaw just on Sunday.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. You don't see a lot of seesaws anymore. Is
No,
it like
this
it's
was
like a different one?
it was like a seesaw meets one of those animals that has a
Bounce it.
spring. So it was
Yeah.
like a spring like
Yeah.
seesaw.
That's
So
So-
this is what this is a quick rendering of the fence, just because I was talking to our playground rep and I was like, listen, you didn't put the fence in there. We need some kind of visual on what it might look like. So this isn't exactly what it would look like with the fence, but just to kind of give you an idea of, so it does need to be enclosed. That's part of the safety aspect of the grant, especially for kids with special needs and things like that.
Mhm.
But for use purposes, we would have openings. So there'd be an opening on this side here, which is as if you're approaching from Sickle School, and then there would be another opening where you're entering on the east side of the park, and then another one along where the turf area is in the back.
Are
And
the
reason that you
pads?
do,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, and the reason that it's openings instead of gates is gates aren't the most functional when you have this many kids running in and out, especially when you talk about like maintenance and things like that. It gets really difficult at a park, which is why you'll typically see confined openings.
And I imagine near these openings would be where we, position tables or benches and such, so people can position themselves there and kind of watch or.
Yeah, and we included, so this is really, the patio is really cool. And that was something that through, talking to folks, just added seating is a big component to making it more user friendly. And whether it's, parents there after school and maybe they're still doing some work and they can pull their laptop if they need to, or the school can access it and they can have, maybe some classes or groups of kids out there at a time. So the patio is really cool. And there's a lot of different seating throughout.
DJ, just wondering, does that patio get kind of hot though? Would that cement get hot? That would be my only concern, because I don't think there's a lot of, well, there's a tree, you can see a shadow there, but
Yeah, there's a fair amount of shade there. I mean, it's not blacktop, so it's not super hot. It's a lighter color, which is helpful.
I, the environmentalist in me and like, hearing their voices, they don't love cement or like impervious surfaces. I wonder how that would also just affect kind of water flow.
Yeah, so Rich is going to have a whole engineering plan that's going to address water flow, and sheet flow and all those different things. So he would be the one to that would have really good input on that. I'm certainly not an engineer, but that's a really good thing to bring up.
But it looks great, and it looks like the path, I guess, will stay the original path on the right.
Yeah, so right now that's a quarry dust path. We're having a lot of issues,
okay.
and we've talked about it just with maintaining things. So there's a constant tug of war between like the natural aesthetic and the natural feel versus like what's like most practical from a maintenance perspective. So there's talk of maybe on certain heavy use areas, going with the concrete there, which there is already concrete pathways at the park. And so replacing some of the quarry dust in some of these user areas where parents are coming with strollers. And like right now, if you go out there, you're going to see a lot of weeds that are growing in. You're going to see a lot of runoff where there's no quarry dust and it's just DGA or denitrified aggregate rock. So those are just some ideas that are being played with in terms of what's the best setup wise.
Is the path around it going to stay the same, sort of where people run? Is that part of the discussion, or is that?
Yeah, so ultimately that's going to be, again, more of a governing body, administrator decision on what they would like to go there. The recommendation from Rich is to make some of those access points concrete again, for the areas where we have drainage issues, and a difficult time maintaining it. So that's the recommendation that we've gotten.
But the path would remain, it's more just of a question of the composition of it?
Right, yeah. So like the areas directly around the playground, like you see here, might be concrete.
Mhm.
Just like, so there is, if you've been to McCarter Park recently and you think about that area, Michael, that where you were talking about, they didn't want trees planted.
Yes.
So there is that concrete sidewalk right there, and
Yeah.
eventually that turns to quarry dust.
Yep.
So maybe a couple of those extensions there where there is quarry dust, filling it in with the concrete to kind of marry that together in those high use areas that have the drainage issues.
Yeah, I definitely think it has to be a bigger discussion, partly because this kind of even came up at Fairhaven Fields recently. And there was talk about making the surface, part of the surface where the people run cement. But for runners, like to have it go from the dust to cement to dust is not the best. So it's something to think about when we're talking about this.
Right.
But and also to balance the stormwater, the sheet flow and all that stuff. So it's just, bigger conversation, but I think it looks awesome. It's very cool. I'm so excited that you guys got this far. So thank you.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share what these would look like. Again, Mark, do you think it's worth playing the video of the one that's all brown that doesn't have any green in it, or just go through the PDF of that?
Probably just the PDF. I mean, effectively, it's the same sort of walkthrough. It's just that instead of some of the green accents on the slides and such, it's brown. I've seen it, and honestly, it's so much more monochromatic and almost a little bit kind of dull. So I like
Yeah.
the idea of being able to mix the green in there with it. And that all sort of works towards the environment in which it sits, I think, rather than just all brown.
Yeah,
Right. So
I'll take-
it's the PDFs we can look.
I agree. I think the green is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Okay.
green's it's not too like in your face, really. It kind of blends in. It's not.
And that was a
Yeah.
lot of the feedback we got at the open houses and the surveys
Right.
was like, we don't want loud colors, and certain playgrounds that works. But I think keeping the historical nature of this facility, I think, is really important to a lot of people, which is why these are more the natural aesthetics. So I'll just go through this one and
Hey DJ, I'm sorry, real quick. Does like any plantings get paid for by this grant or covered by the grant, or any is that part of this?
So they could be part of the, again, the back and forth and the tug of war is like when we looked at this, right? Like I was having discussions with Rich and Chris, and we're like, wow, I want to get to one of these points where they have some plants in here. But wow, it looks incredible with the plants. And then we're like, we're not going to be able to maintain that. Like just knowing like this looks beautiful, but in really what's going to be happening is kids are running back and forth. If you've ever been to recess or after school out there, it's a madhouse, right? So
yeah,
you're
it
going to be running
definitely
back and forth through there, even if they weren't. 21 Fairhaven Road's going to be coming on. There's going to be maintenance there. We talked at the start of just not being able to get regular park stuff done that we'd like to get done in the off season to be ready for the spring season. So like even this would be incredible, but there's beds that we didn't get to mulch at all this year. So those again are higher level discussions of ultimately does the town think that those can be maintained, and then those could be included. Otherwise, you might go with more of like a hardscape.
Yeah, I think kind of from that view, you can see with more of just all the browns. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's not as exciting. It's just a little more kind of blah.
Right. And originally we had talked about maybe like a brown poured in place to match kind of what's there now, color wise. But then again, looking at it and like it's just so much brown. So you can see here there's browns and there's greens, and it kind of makes it fun. And after all, these are kids that are going to be out here. So that was a recommendation from the vendor that we were talking to. So it kind of adds some fun elements into it for the kids, but also again, we didn't want a bunch of reds and blues and all these different colors in there. So that was the thought process there.
DJ, I know you've said this
Yeah.
before, but like, what's the material? It's mostly like recycled
Kind of like
plastics or something, or kind
Like
of
rubber.
Yeah, so
Rubberized.
it's a poured in place rubber material.
the
I could
whole
send
playground, like even the like roofs and stuff?
no, so that's just a typical I don't want to get the term wrong, but it's some sort of heavy duty plastic material. I don't know what that is offhand.
Mhm.
I think it's kind of like, you know, those decks, like the Trex decks, which
The
is kind of
that's
that
what I was
plastic.
thinking, Trex,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Because I would, I mean, obviously, again, just thinking of other what people are going to say, like in terms of the toxic, like is it? I'm assuming it's playground, so it's not toxic at
Oh
all.
yeah,
Or,
it's industry standard. I mean, there's
yeah.
yeah, this is pretty basic stuff. It's nothing out of the ordinary, and you know, any specs obviously would be reviewed by the town. But yeah, this is pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, and again, you know, being materials for playground, you know, type equipment, I'm sure there's all kinds of standards and codes
Oh,
they need to meet.
standards, insurance, all
Yeah.
that's why this stuff is so darn expensive because they have to make sure everything, you know, it's not like back in the day where maybe they have lead paint and they have these parts that wear out and you know, there are tons of
Oh, that's
boxes they have to
corroding.
check for sure.
Okay. So as far as the committee goes, we would like to make a recommendation on the color scheme. So the browns versus like the brown and green. Is that what we're after this evening, TJ?
Yeah, that's the thought is do you like more of like just the browns or do you like that would you like there to be like those dark greens mixed in there? When you look at those two options, which one was more appealing?
I think it sounded like at least myself, Rachel, maybe Michael as well, kind of weighed in on the brown and green. Tim, any thoughts?
Brown and green.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a consensus there that that kind of, you know, spices it up a little bit, but still keeps it very kind of natural and woody looking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So do you want a formal decision on that, or is that sufficient for you to bring to the council?
That's sufficient. That's sufficient. Yeah, I'll bring that back to Chris and that makes it easier too with any further iterations. You know, them not having to go and create multiples. They're sticking with that general color theme.
Right.
Makes it a lot easier and we're okay with that poured in place with like the greens and the browns mixed in there, kind of the same thing as the
Yeah, again, like I say, adds a little something else, you know, to it. And I could see kids having fun, you know, playing with like the different colors, you know, like you can walk on some colors but not on others, and you know, kind of that thing.
Yeah.
Are there any, this is really random, but DJ, my daughter used to walk all around the edge on like the raised, I
Mm,
don't know, they had wood, do you know what I'm talking about? There was almost like a
yeah.
wood.
What's the
Like-
Yeah,
bordering?
the wood
Yeah, so
curb.
there's 4x4s there now.
Yeah.
This plan every company's different on what they would recommend. A company that we worked with out of Long Island for a bit, they recommended having the port in place and it would just funnel off to the side and create a natural edge. This company and our engineer believe the best option is to have a concrete curbing, which you saw on there. Because you do, again, you want it to last. You do want there to be a border and for it to be a safe entry onto the playground.
Would concrete though, like more chance someone would trip and hit their head though? I mean, as someone who did as a kid hit their head on concrete.
I
Um,
would imagine because we'll have fencing around pretty much everything except for the entry points that you
It wouldn't be
shouldn't
an
really
issue.
sort of cross the concrete and trip. And at the entry point, obviously knowing that it's an entry point, they would make sure things are level
Yeah.
and beveled as necessary.
I'm the kid who would like get hurt on everything. So I see, I would have climbed
Hey,
to the
I
top.
once
I
got a
would have,
goose-egg size bump on my head from forgetting to bend down a little bit as I tried to run under the monkey bars. All right. So anything further we need to discuss on that one? All right, we good, DJ?
yeah, so I'll take that info back to the borough administrator and we'll get going from there. Like we said, timetable is to go out to bid. We have to go out to bid per the grant by the end of January. of 2026.
Okay.
And then we expect to get bids back somewhere in like that March, April time. Then deciding which way the town wants to go. And then with work taking place starting in late June, ending in aim for mid-August, because we know how it works with contractors and what we don't want is to delay it a few weeks and then school starts and the playground's not done yet. So that's the time frame we're looking at is late June, start with the demo and then get the new playground in there, allow it to settle. And ideally, perfect world, a week or two before school, we finish up and then, we can do all the grand opening fun stuff, get the kids out there, and it's a brand new playground for the first day of school.
Cool.
That's awesome. Has the school seen this for this rendition or this?
No, not yet.
Okay.
That's my main.
Might be good to show them just to have them
Absolutely.
see it.
Yeah, once we get some more
Yeah.
clarity on things, I think I'd even like to walk it with Sean McNeil and the principal over there, just to because they are going to be like the main users of it. So that's definitely something that we'll want to do is keep them in step once plans are made or before any final decisions are made.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Now
Well-
that we have a better sense for the coloration and they'll get renderings with the fencing and everything, then we'll have something better to share them. I'm sorry, did I cut you off there, Michael?
Oh, no. Terrific. Sorry. I keep going back and forth to mute. Great. That sounds terrific.
All right. Let's continue on then. We got the Halloween events, which I think went very successfully.
Yeah, they went well. Shout out to you, Mark, and Rachel for helping out with those.
Yeah.
We accomplished our goal of quicker judging this year. And the high school volunteers were great. We had a ton.
Yeah, we had
They
a
helped
lot.
us out with things. There's always things that come up that we don't plan for. Like we got there and the orange snow fence the school has around the new bike area was like 95% fallen over. So we ended up getting some twisty ties and we had some of the high school guys go and put that fence back up. So that's why it's always so nice to have extra volunteers because you never know what you're
Right.
walking into, especially in a park on a Sunday morning.
It was nice to have them sort of stationed at the one point we used to be able to use as an entrance, but it wasn't really making sense for people to come in that way this time because of the new bike area. So they were able to direct them around the fence and in, over by the parking lot, which kept people from walking all over eggs and little kids starting to pick up well before we were ready to start.
Yeah.
All right. And I think
And Rachel put a last minute Hail Mary. She wasn't supposed to be available, but then she was able to make it over.
with reinforcements, yeah.
Next year, I'm going to make it. I was so bummed I couldn't make it this year. I'm sorry, guys, but next year.
Sounds
No
good.
worries. We'd
Be awesome.
welcome you. Yeah, whenever you get there. So I think we kind of also came to the conclusion, Rachel and DJ, that I think the numbers might have been a little bit down, but I think the quality of like the costumes and everything and just sort of the engagement with everything was definitely stronger than we've seen in the past. So that was nice.
Yeah, those costumes were incredible. So
Yep.
that was cool to see.
My friend's daughter was the cat lady and she did a good, I was very happy you picked her. She was
Oh.
cute. She was super cute. Thanks, guys.
That was great.
Yeah, there were some really good ones. Okay. Anything else to mention with that?
Decoration contest. So
Ah,
we'll be announcing the winners tomorrow, the next day. But so we had a new winner this year, 16 Hendricks, or Hendrickson, which that's one of the houses. That's the house I went to 3 times, knocked on their door. They didn't answer. I put the flyer in the mailbox. They didn't email me, and eventually I found their information and they agreed to to register, and they won because it was a really cool house.
It was
Cool. So
scary,
they came-
spooky.
Yeah, so they came in first. 200 Hants came in second or in third, and then the Chesneys over on Park Lane came in second.
That was there.
Okay.
That's good. And how many total votes did you
yeah,
get?
good question.
Just under 600.
Wow.
Is
Yeah,
that seems like a lot. That's
it's the most
great.
we've ever had. Yeah,
The
for
funky
sure.
thing about the Halloween options, which are different maybe than the holiday, is that you can't always guarantee that they're going to be available to see at night. Like I went over to 16 Hendrickson, but it's a daytime kind of scene.
Right. And I did
And then
mention
there's
that
others that
to
are
them.
nighttime scenes, and which is fine. But I think with holiday, they're generally available to see it. And they're literally like they're a little bit more lit up, right?
More about lighting, yeah. Well,
Maybe
that could
next year
even
we
be
do
something.
maybe I ask them at the registration if it's better to view theirs or that day or night, and I
Yeah.
could just put like that, like either a D or an N on or make two different lists.
That would be awesome because
Yeah.
I didn't know
might
how to
divide
see
it.
everything. Yeah.
Because that one house you're talking about on Woodland, which was incredible, but you couldn't really see at night. But during the day, you can see all the different aspects of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. All right.
Yeah, and there was one house that I stopped at, and I actually used to hang out at that house as a kid. The owner sold it a few years ago. Right next to the High Dukes. Say it's 530 or 526 River. So I was going by, and I stopped at a few houses to try to get people to enter. And I was talking to this lady, like, "Hey, would you like to join?" And she's like, "Yeah, what is it?" And I told her about it. And she's like, "Oh, we just moved from San Diego. We had no idea this happened." She's like, "I think I saw something about it, but I wasn't sure." So we got her to join, and she ended up signing for the Recce Blast and all that stuff.
And what was the decor?
Scary stuff. If you
Orange,
look, if you
black, and
saw the
purple.
if you saw my Instagram post on it, it was the
Yeah.
first house.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So they didn't win. I think they tied for like fifth or something like that. Which I think third and the three-way tie for fifth were separated by like 9 votes or something like that. So it was tight.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's always fun to talk to new people in town and get them involved in different activities and things like that. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Nice. And we met somebody, there was at the parade, a family came over and was like, "So what happens here?" So they were very clearly. So I
Yeah.
explained, I was like, "Are you new?" And they're like, "Yeah, we just moved last week from
Wow.
Oakland, California." So
All right. Callie's heading over here.
I know.
Okay. So we move on to new business. So we'll move from one holiday to the next. We got the holiday stroll and Santa in the park.
Yes. So holiday stroll in Santa in the Park is that first Friday in December 5th. So typically, so I'm involved. So it's the rec department, so the town and the business association run that jointly. And we're responsible for getting Santa there and closing the roads and the park stuff. Typically Tom Bull, who I think we all know from Two River Computer, he will run the music station there, but he can't make it this year. So they had asked if like the town can run that station. And I told them, yeah, we can, but like the town is me and I'm already doing a lot of other things. So I will,
You
to
are
the
the
best of my ability, do that. But I'm also going to look for a volunteer, maybe someone on the committee or someone else we might know that would be okay with running that.
And
It's-
what does that entail? Because I don't remember the music section.
So yeah, so it's pretty simple. Tom Bull has a speakers and stuff that he'll allow us to use. So I'll set it up and all that stuff, and then I think it's really just plugging in music and then making a couple announcements. When Santa comes, which I'll come over and do that. Hey, Santa's coming, things like that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that whole thing. If any announcements have to be made, just switching back between the mic and the input or the either your phone if you're playing from a playlist or Tom did have like an old iPod mini, which might be like the last one in existence, which had like a holiday playlist on it, which I'm gonna try to snag from him. But it's not like too labor intensive. It's more of just like being able to stay there. Where like
What's the timing? Would you expect?
So like 5:30 to 7:30 would be ideal. We beg, borrow, and steal to get Santa to stay till 7:30. It's a long time to have kids on your lap. I think a kid peed on him last year. It's tough sledding sometimes for Santa.
Really? Oh,
Yeah. So,
same
but yeah.
Santa?
So yeah, we market it as Santa Rise at 6, but the event or the stroll kind of starts at 5:30. So we have the music starting at like 5, and I can hang for like some parts of it, but there are other parts where I'll have volunteers from the high school that are doing certain things. I'll need to go and talk to the fire department as they're arriving. I'll have to go talk to the police, make sure the roads are closed. So I can't be there like the whole time.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, you know, I'm in.
okay,
And I'm available too.
awesome. Yeah, and even if you guys want to split it, so you can enjoy parts of the stroll too.
I don't know. I like my photo elf job.
Oh, right.
So
Forgot about that.
but I'm happy to figure it out.
Okay, awesome. So I'll write you guys down and then I'll be in touch before that.
And DJ, what do you, just let me know what you need from me. Like I'm around. I will definitely be around.
Okay,
for
yeah.
it, so.
However you could help. Again, what Rachel did last year, she helped out the photographer
Mhm.
with writing the names of people down. So if Rachel's helping out with this and you want to, she can always use more help with that.
Okay.
So that
You
there's
might need
always
somebody to shoot the snow around.
the
Right? I
snow
mean,
machine.
the snow
Oh, I'll
is-
do that. That's fun.
Awesome.
So, yeah, just let me know. So
Okay,
put me where
cool.
you need me.
Perfect.
Great.
Awesome. And then the other one, which I know we're definitely going to need helpers with, is the Santa calls.
What's
And
that?
yeah.
Mhm.
Can girls do it? Can we be elves or no, we have to,
So, I mean,
can get
so we
deep.
used to do that, but what ended up happening was one, it's really tough to get anyone who will be a Santa. And then two, it's tough to get them to, we used to do it at Borough Hall, but then we found, people are leaving work and they'll do it like on their way home, or they'll do it like right when they're at home, or they can't leave home because they have to babysit or they have to be there with their kids, but they can be in the garage and do it. So we typically just have the Santas now. And yeah, it's just tough getting people that want to do it. I don't know how many I'm going to be able to make this year. I'm just having some like respiratory stuff going on, and it's like longer conversations can be tough. So doing like the Santa deep voices for 2 hours is really hard.
Yeah.
So anyone that you think might be okay with even doing like 5 calls for us would be really helpful. I think we try to limit it to what, like 8 or 10 a night, Mark, something like that.
Yeah.
For
Yep.
each Santa, just because the calls, it actually takes some prep time because you have to go through the list of what the kids are getting, what their names are, and what their dog's name is, and all this stuff that we get from the parents. So you go through that like whole sheet of info, and you're circling things, and there's 2 and 3 kids and
Yeah.
families
I have
going
things-
through stuff.
Yeah.
So just putting it out there, I will be sending out an email to the Santas from last year. But if you know anyone who would be okay with being a Santa, and I walk them through it, I do a whole Santa training. It'll be that second week in December. The dates are to be determined. I'll pull my regular Santas to see which nights work best for them. And then we'll send out that information a couple weeks ahead of time. But just send me an email with any names and contact info of people that you think might be available. I don't know if Rachel, you can rope your husband in for another year. I think.
I know, Michael, I don't know if you've heard this, but my husband has a really hard time doing these because he has a hard time like what I told you about it, DJ. I can't remember how to phrase it this time, but like he just didn't want to he just didn't want to promise the kids stuff that he couldn't
That he
guarantee.
didn't know that the parents
It
were
was
going to get them.
it
Oh,
was something
that's
like
hard.
that. And then, yeah, like he didn't really want to tell the kids that they had to behave. He didn't want to start to become a disciplinarian
Okay, I
over the
get that.
phone. It was that kind of stuff that was just hard for him. So I will ask him again,
Okay.
but he might have to think about it.
Fair enough. So,
But yeah.
what was the week for that, DJ?
It's the second week in December.
So the week of the 8th. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just want to make sure. Got it in my notes here. Okay. And so we have the menorah lighting as well.
Yep, December 14th. That Sunday.
Yep. Okay.
And that'll take place 4:30 at Memorial Park, and that'll be the Rabbi Shapiro. Will help lead that again.
Okay.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
missed, what's the date on that one? And actually, will you send do you mind sending all those dates that we were just talking about? So I can get
Sure.
them in the calendar.
Yeah, I'll send you an email tomorrow with that.
Yeah.
info.
And DJ, would you mind just inviting me, like making just like a calendar invite so I know these are on there?
Sure.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Okay. All right. We are, unless there's anything anyone else wants to introduce, we've gotten through our list. We didn't have anything on there for a borough, a council. Is there anything we need to know?
There's not really a ton going on. I talked to Tracy about this just to see. The only big thing that is happening is we are passing a stronger stormwater management ordinance that will affect all projects versus just like larger projects. That's probably, I think, in 2 meetings. Other than that, I mean, we closed out big things just now, so that was kind of a big deal, you know, with the PD and community center. And I think kind of next up is really a focus on Fairhaven Road. And there's a bunch of funding that's coming in for that. Also Bicentennial Hall is kind of on the radar with that. But yeah, there's not a ton right this second.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Anything else from the committee?
Actually, the only other thing, sorry, real quick, is, and this will come to you guys, but the whole thing about the baseball and the banners, that is coming to council. Baseball came to us and said that they did want to put banners up, which they haven't done in a while, like sponsorship banners. I guess this hasn't happened since 2018, so we're getting a little bit more information. I believe it's coming before the council.
Okay.
Yeah, so every year, this was back in, again, like she said, 18 or 19. Fairhaven Baseball would do banners. So along the outfield fence of FH4, a portion of those banner proceeds would go towards just Fairhaven Baseball, however they wanted to use them. And then there would be a portion that was like community related. And so they typically would use that for like the Porta John that's out there, that they would have during baseball season, or there's a shed at community center, which can also be used by other sports groups. So like things that are not just baseball centric in a sense. So there was an agreement that Fairhaven Baseball had with the borough. And that hasn't been updated in a while. So that's a little bit of what Michael's talking about.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. I think if we're done, we can all get back to watching the results come in.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll make a
Alright.
motion to adjourn.
Okay.
All right.
Second.
Sounds good. All right. We shall adjourn and we will see you again
Yep.
on December 2nd next month.
Sounds good. See you then, if
Thank
not
you.
sooner.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.